Hi, Greg DeGarian here with Tempworks Software to explain one of the most controversial terms out there in the staffing industry, vendor management system. So what I've done is I've done a little drawing, kind of a satellite type of look at what your average big company, whether it be IBM or Alcoa or whoever, would be. And obviously you have a headquarters that then has subsidiaries, that then has branches, or maybe they've done an acquisition, and these little staffing companies all around the world now are feeding people into this organization. And what these big companies are wanting to do is, first of all, negotiate on the fact that they're so large. Rather than taking the high price from each staffing company way out there in the hinterlands, they can negotiate with a few select vendors and get control of their spend. The other problem is, obviously, at these factories or satellite offices and so forth, there can be either a lot of fraud or simply maverick spending by people out there that headquarters can't control. So how does headquarters know how it's done in a particular quarter if it has no idea how that branch office way out there has spent its money on third-party staffing? So there's a lot of problems running a big company, and this VMS is an idea to get control over that problem. Now, that said, that's a great idea, but in reality what has happened is that as these VMS programs have gotten implemented, in fact, the quality supplied by the staffing companies went down. In other words, headquarters was trying to assert a control over what the branch was doing out here and which kind of companies, staffing companies they dealt with, to the point that quality deteriorated so much that they actually ended up getting worse people in for a higher price. So there's a big problem really with running a centralized VMS system, and there's another problem also related to VMS, and let me explain that. And it is simply that on that VMS system where you're tracking all the candidates from these third-party vendors, you're keeping a pool of talent which is separate from yet another system, your applicant tracking system. So what you end up with is your VMS system over here, an applicant tracking system over here, an HR system over here, and maybe a payroll system over here. And you can see we got a massive problem keeping track of where people are in that whole system. So what we've done at Tempworks is we've taken all of those pieces together and put it in one centralized database so that everyone is working together. And instead of moving data all over the place, it's happening in one place, all in a role-based system with permissions so that only the people that should see information can see it. Now, this is a very short explanation. You still have a lot of issues implementing a VMS program. It takes a lot of good service by someone in the HR staffing industry to implement this, but the software solution is to get it all on a centralized database. Greg DeGarian with Tempworks Software. Thank you very much.